Hi, I'm making this video today because I am having troubles finding accurate information on potassium online, and there aren't any accurate videos. I see all these different videos. I just watched one, and they say, oh, there's this much potassium in this food. And then I go look it up at Nutrition Self Data, and no, it's not even close to what they say. It's like an order of magnitude off. It's like 10 times off. So and I look everywhere online. There's all this misinformation. It's just disgusting to me because it's like everybody just trusts whatever's out there because they have a pretty website. Well, this is not a beautiful video because like I'm not good at that sort of thing yet, but the content is awesome because what I did is I went through all the different websites I could find that talked about potassium in foods. And you can watch another video on why potassium is important, but the reality is 97% of people are deficient in potassium, and it causes all sorts of health issues. And especially if you're using a sauna or sweating a lot, then you're definitely deficient in potassium. And Food Source is the very best way to get it. I run the Sauna Detox Sauna Facebook group, so a lot of people in my group have asked me how to get potassium in their diet. So what I just did is I just created this chart, and again, I'm not like super tech savvy. I created this in Evernote, so I'd have it, but I wasn't able to organize it by category. But I found the top like 16 or 18 foods in potassium. And what I did is I put them in a really well organized chart. And what this chart does is it tells you, and this is from Nutrition Self Data, which is like 95 to 99% as close as the USDA website. So it's super close to accurate. And these are actual numbers. This isn't just some like, oh, it's a pretty infographic. Oh, this will convince people and it's inaccurate information. No, this is good, reliable information in a chart. The highest foods in potassium, foods that are good for you. And then what I did is I put the unit here, and then I also put the calories, because the reality is what really matters is how much potassium are you getting per calorie, because you need a ton of potassium. In fact, according to one source here, according to this source, the Institute of Medicine, the average amount of potassium you should consume every day is 4,700 milligrams. Well, my goodness, unless you're eating a potassium tree or something, which I don't know that there is a potassium tree, it's going to be hard to get that much potassium. So how do you do it? Well, here are the foods that I have listed out for potassium. And what I did is I put potassium per calorie. So and these aren't in any particular order because I just did them as I found them. And unfortunately, in Evernote, you're not able to obviously spell check properly, but you're not able to move things like you would in Word or Excel, but stores it. So anyway, so we've got beet greens. Beet greens and spinach are really high. Now, the problem with beet greens and spinach is higher per cup. Because the reality is, who's going to eat like 5 cups of beet greens? And then if you do eat 5 cups of beet greens, you're probably going to need to put some butter on it and add some calories. So spinach is probably the best bet. It's the most commonly available. Do not eat spinach from a can, though, because canned food has a liner in the can, and they cook it in that can, and that liner is petrochemicals, BPA, all of that, and then it marinates in that. So get frozen organic spinach. Spinach has to be organic because it's one of the most pesticide contaminated crops in the world. Anyway, so spinach is good. Now the next thing is potatoes, and potatoes are really high in potassium. So you don't want to get you don't want to have fried potatoes because they alacramize. I think that's how it's pronounced. But potatoes are good, very high in potassium, and their potassium per calorie is pretty reasonable too. It's hard to compare things to greens because they're just loaded with nutrients. But potatoes are really good, just white potatoes. But again, those have to be organic. Some foods don't have to be organic, but potatoes have to be there. I live in Idaho, so like I know this stuff. So because they just use tons of pesticides and other chemicals to keep the potatoes from sprouting while they're in storage. And also they're making GMO potatoes now. So you definitely want organic potatoes. Winter squash is even better than potatoes, potassium per calorie. So that's another good choice. And then beans are generally pretty good in terms of potassium. So lima beans are not my personal favorite, but they're pretty good. And And then here's another real winner in terms of potassium. It is broccoli. And the other cool thing about broccoli, I wrote captures toxins because I didn't have much room to spell it out. But the most popular toxin that a lot of people aren't aware of are these petrochemical toxins are estrogenic. They're called xenoestrogens. They're fake estrogens. And so what happens is those estrogens actually, sorry, I've got comments posting up. They're actually captured by cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and broccoli. Now, you want to make sure that cauliflower and broccoli are cooked because they have things that antagonize your thyroid. I forget what they're called right now. But broccoli is a real winner when it comes to potassium. I'm trying to give you a nice long list of foods because these are things you have to incorporate these foods in your diet on a regular basis because you have to have high level of potassium, especially if you're doing any sort of detoxification protocol. The next thing, turns out halibut is really good. So it's probably the best protein source definitely the best protein source that I was able to find. Um, and it's this is for half a fillet. Some people pronounce it fillet, but I pronounce it fillet. Just kidding. But no, halibut's really good. 916 milligrams of potassium and 4.1 milligrams per calorie. Sweet potatoes are also good. And that's something that you can get. They sell them at Costco. You can get them pretty reasonably priced, and they store for a while. So that's an excellent choice as well. And when it comes to fruits, I actually was able to categorize the fruits all in one area. And it turns out the cantaloupe, surprisingly, is the real winner here because cantaloupe has 7.9 milligrams of potassium per calorie, which is really beats just about it. I mean, it's right up there with broccoli. So it's really one of the best that there is. So cantaloupe is a good choice. The other good choice for fruits is bananas. They're convenient. And what's also cool about bananas is what you can do is what I do is I soak the banana peel in vinegar water, even if it's organic, just to remove any possible contaminants or pesticides. And then you can boil the banana peels. And what those banana peels have is they're loaded with magnesium. You'll sleep better and feel a lot better because they're loaded with magnesium. It's a great way to get food source magnesium. It's like a banana tea. I have it brewing like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Avocados are a good source as well, but because they're pretty high in calories, their potassium per calorie isn't great, but they're just a good, healthy fat as well. A real winner here is tomato paste in terms of, and that could be tomatoes, that could be salsa, that could be pasta sauce, anything like that. You definitely want to make sure that's organic and it's not in a can for the reasons we talked about earlier. But the potassium is off the charts, 2,657 milligrams per cup. And most of these are cups. So 12.3, it's absolute highest per calorie other than some of the greens. But the thing is like I said earlier, it's hard to eat 5 cups of greens, but it's easy to have a cup of tomato paste or tomatoes. So tomatoes are probably the most common food that is loaded with potassium. So highly recommended. Brussels sprouts, another good choice. It's not something I commonly have in my diet, but you can see that it's up in the higher ranges. And all of these, by the way, all of these foods are acceptable choices. These are all high. Compared to any other food, they're way, way, way higher in potassium. So they're all excellent choices. So whichever ones you like, are convenient, you're used to eating, you have access to, any of these choices are good. Is going back to fruits, watermelon's actually a pretty decent choice. It's pretty close to bananas per calorie. Not quite as convenient, but definitely a hydrating food. So for those of you using a sauna, a watermelon might be a great choice. You could actually eat watermelons instead of as a partial substitute to drinking because they have so much water in them. So the next thing is the cauliflower, and it's again, it's pretty high. It's almost as high as broccoli. So it's as far as per calorie, but again, you're not getting an actual total high amount. with this, but because there's just has so much fiber and bulk that that the actual amount that you're getting isn't that high. So you kind of have to consider the amount and the potassium per calorie. But you can take a screenshot of this, and it'll really be a helpful tool for you. And then you can also notice I put over here magnesium levels, phosphorus levels, just the relevant the other minerals that were in there that were of a relevant level. And I also put some fiber in here and some other notations. So please like this video, because I spent a lot of effort actually sourcing good, reliable information, because there's no other good information out there on potassium levels in food. I put it all in a pretty chart for you, and all I ask is that you hit like on the video and maybe add a comment if you think there's a food that I should add to the list. Please verify it with Nutrition Self Data first and make sure that it's at least as high as these other ones. Leave a comment, tell me what you think of the video, and please like it. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't joined my my Sauna Detox with Niacin Facebook group, you totally have to watch that. The reason I joined that, because that group, I teach you the most effective detoxification protocol in the world, because most people are not aware of this, but toxins are stored in our fat cells, and none of the other detoxes work. You have to detoxify the fat cells. Well, it turns out that niacin is actually the detoxification vitamin. Essentially, it releases the toxins in your fat, and then you just sweat out the toxins, and you feel so much better. Your IQ goes up, you have more energy, like all that toxic burden that is stored, that is built up over several years. This will actually detoxify it in just a few weeks. I teach all this information for free, and all you have to do is join my group. Now, what you have to do to join my group is type in FBL, Frank Bill Larry .me. Got to do this now. Trust me, you'll love this group. Like, this is going viral. We have almost 10,000 people in our group. By the time you watch this video, it'll probably doubled and be 20,000 people. FBL.me/detox. It's a total game changer for your health. I show you how to do a $10,000 detoxification protocol for free. I give you all the information. It's all free. No scams, no gimmicks. FBL.me/detox. You have to type it in now, because I know once you watch the other video, you'll later be kicking yourself saying, hey, why didn't I type that in? What? Oh, something about detox. I heard this really effective, like $10,000 detox protocol that I could do on my own and improve my health or share with my friends, and I forgot to type it in. Don't be that person. Just type it in. Just type it in your browser and join our group. It's really awesome. Frank Bill Larry, FBL.me/detox. That's all you have to do. FBL.me/detox. Join our group. Check it out later when you have some time. It's absolutely awesome. Thanks for watching my video. FBL.me/detox. Have a great day.